It is me, Pearl from Pearl in the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we are here to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energy inside of ourselves, understanding that whatever state we find this energy in, we can see that reflected back to us in our interactions with others, in our external environment. And if we want to see things change, we do need to shift and change the energy within ourselves, and then see what happens outside of self. And you can start testing it and seeing if it works for you. And if it works for you, then you found a handy little tool that you can use for addressing some of the obstacles that you sometimes stumble upon on your journey called life. Good morning. I'm in a weird mood, but that's how you like it. I'm pretty sure at this point. I have a couple of announcements. First of all, if you'd ever like to book a private reading, there is always, of course, links everywhere that you could possibly look. In the description, in the bios. So go and click the links and find the things and click around and you'll see everything from booking a membership, which is probably going to be pretty important to you because I'm making this announcement today. For members, and there are some OG members who are already locked in at their original price, and so pay no mind to the newer price. We already talked about that when there was a transition. So, but for those members that are now joining, it is $5.55 a month to join. And this membership will now get you not only access to all of the full-length Tell Me Everything spreads that I've done since January. That's a lot. All of the Learn Tarot and Divine Tune-In readings, which you can learn a tarot card plus tune into your connection through those readings, and they're very fun. And now, for the time being and to continue onwards until we decide we don't really feel like doing that anymore, but for now we're doing this, and the people have asked and the people are being given part 2s of the Tell Me Everything spreads that I do on the daily on TikTok. So if you see the first part and the divine masculine is like, and you're like, what was he going to say? And then I have to try to convey the same feelings in text form in the comment section. No more will you have to suffer this injustice. Now, as long as you are supporting my channel and supporting the extra time and energy it takes, which I measured it today. So I usually take about 15 minutes to get all of the channeling, shuffling, typing, posting, and everything done. And that doesn't count like all of the management, research, all that kind of stuff I have to do of myself to know when to post it, to optimize how many people see it, because that is how I keep surviving. So outside of all that kind of stuff, this adds an additional 20 or so minutes to what I'm doing. So I have to account for the time and I have to do it somehow. And I also want to give you what you want to see. So now you're going to be able to see the rest of each one of those readings up through the last question, which is, what am I thankful for in this connection? So from beginning to end, every time I post a Tell Me Everything. So you'll never have to be in the dark. And I just ask that you're supporting me as a member, which is pretty modest, and you can always cancel it at any time. And I am looking into maybe offering individual ones that are just like $1 or something if you don't want to be a member, but you want to, there's one you just have to see sometimes, but I have to figure out how to do that in a way that makes sense and isn't super annoying. So for the time being, it is members only. And if the subscription thing on TikTok starts happening, then it will be for subscribers. I will have a link to the playlist that is available for members on the site. You'll basically have the same access. Either way, you can either pay me directly or you can pay TikTok. When that happens, then they'll give me a cut, like whatever works. I don't care. I don't care. As long as you see what you need to see, and I can pay for my car, and I can pay for my apartment, and eat, and do fun things, and have fun with you guys. That's what I'm trying to do. And when I say guys, I mean everybody, because apparently guys is everybody. So, okay. Also, I'm old. I look young, but I'm old. So forgive me. All you people, you beautiful people of all shapes and sizes, and anyone who's not even people, aliens too. I know there's a lot of Aquariuses out there. We know they all know they're aliens, and we love you. Okay. Are we ready to do this reading today? I don't even know. I think I'm ready. Okay. So we're going to start the way we've been starting everything lately. And we're starting to refine this exercise. Oh my God, I was just listening to you sing and give a reading. Oh, thank you so much. Yes, for those of you that don't know, I am Pearl from Pearl in the Prayers, and I am a singer. That was the first thing I probably did in my life, is work really hard to do that. I became a singer and a producer. I went to a fancy school and all that stuff. You can find my music, Pearl, and the prayers. And all of that's available on my website too. Click around. It's fun, and I made it myself. Okay? All right. So thank you for saying that, though. I appreciate that. Oh, actually, I'm so glad you said that was one of the announcements I forgot. See? Look, you're helping me out. What I meant to tell you is that if you now comment on any of my videos, songs that you would like me to cover, and I see the comment. Sometimes I don't see comments. I'm sorry, but I try to go back and do as many as I can. But I'm going to be putting out like weekly ones. Like what songs should I sing? Comment songs you want me to cover. I'm going to take the songs and make a master playlist of all the songs that get recommended. And then I'm going to shuffle that playlist before I do the readings. And then the songs that come up, I'll try to sing them for you, which it'll be very interesting. It's going to expand my music vocabulary, and I've always been resistant to doing covers, so I'm going to make myself do it. You like how that is? My Venus and Virgo does. But I think it's a cool way for you to DJ your own videos and get the sentiments that you feel match, your situations, and also enjoy your favorite songs as sung by me. Okay, so that's a new thing that's happening. Enjoy, and you can comment basically on any video. You can be like, oh, this is a song I'd like for you to cover, and I will add it to a list, a master list, and I'll try to keep up with it. But you know me, I have intentional deficit disorder, but I also have an assistant. So if you have intentional deficit disorder and an assistant, half of the shit gets done. Okay, instead of almost none of it. All right. Continuing on, let's center now the way we do at the beginning of all of my readings, including private readings. I always do this step with everybody. And recently we've refined this exercise to take it a little bit deeper and get that an additional layer of embodying the things we desire. 10:55 on the clock. So I want you to think of something that you think would make you feel better right now. Better than you feel right now. And it can be anything at all in any facet of your life, but just whatever maybe is bugging you the most or has been bugging you the longest. What would make you feel better in regards to that thing? So I want you to just keep thinking about that thing for a minute, and I'm going to actually have you think about it for an entire minute. And I want you, while you're thinking about this thing, I want you to imagine that it is happening to you. We're going to imagine that it's happening to us for the first minute. So imagine some of the sensations that you might be having in your body as you're thinking of this thing happening. Are you feeling it in your chest, your guts, the base of your spine? Now I want you to go just another layer deeper, and I want you to imagine that you are telling your very closest friend about the experience you just had. I want you to start trying to describe to them how it felt in your body. I want you to try to imagine the same kind of excitement or relief that you would have when you were telling your friend this finally happened and it's so good. And when you're ready, just start to come back from imagining this really good thing happening. And I want you to start acknowledging right now that with your imagination, and I'm sure with varying degrees of success, depending on how well you could imagine this event without the worry or fear that it wouldn't happen tugging at it while you were imagining it. But depending on how much you could get into that space, that place, that feeling, you had the ability to create the feelings that you thought the experience would create. And for a long time, I bet a lot of you have been holding on to something as the only thing that could create the feelings that you just created with your mind. So it is an illusion that we have to have a physical experience to get the feelings we're after. We can create the pathways in the brain to have the feelings we desire right now by just using our imagination. And while it may not be as satisfying as the physical experience, I'm also not certain that that's true. And that's probably why you have remained in the space where this thing has not been a reality experience, because you're probably also not sure that the feelings you just created with your mind are going to be replaced with better feelings by the actual physical thing. There may still be doubt there. So your job is to create the new pathways that help you to have the feelings you want to have more often, so that that's more normal for you, rather than the feeling of experiencing the anxiety or the worry about the thing not happening, which is very normal for you. So you're constantly reliving the what if it doesn't happen and the feelings that come from that, versus being like, what if it does, and feeling that happen. And so I find this so interesting, because this technique started with a very simple exercise, which was, imagine something that would make you feel better. And then I'd be like, okay, cool, you got it? Good. Now I'm going to show you that there's actually something else that you need instead of that. Which is fun. But it has actually turned into the ability to create the pathways you need to have the experience you're seeking. And now we have an opportunity to find out what we actually need that will consistently give us those feelings, versus what we think we need will consistently give us those feelings. Make a choice. Make a decision. This is the Two of Swords in reverse. So if you want peace, you got to make a choice, because you're not going to be at peace until you make a choice. So whatever feelings or ideas, experiences that you thought you had to have in order to feel better, there has to be some kind of a decision to give yourself those things. And if you're like, well, I can't because it's because it's out of my control, because it's about someone else, it's like, oh no, you can. Because if you're expecting someone else to do something, then your decision can be, oh, I'm just going to do this myself for myself. Whatever it was you thought that other person was supposed to bring you just now, those feelings you just showed that you could give yourself through your purely imagining them. Which means you're only limited by your imagination, because you could imagine so many other ways of receiving these things, but you choose not to for a reason. And going within and discovering this reason is going to help you make this decision. So no more avoiding finding out why we're not making a decision, looking at maybe being like, oh, do we not want to choose? Because if we choose, then we have to enter into the 3D. Because the Divine Feminine's message this morning in her TikTok reading was, yeah, so the thing about that is I feel real unprepared actually to have what I wanted. And I thought this whole time I was like doing everything to prepare. But now that it's here, or my mindset has shifted into a place where I could receive such a thing, I'm actually realizing that my ducks are kind of, they're like, maybe, where did my ducks go? Ducks! Like, weren't you just in a row there? Wasn't I getting that? And what happened to them? Because I got distracted, or I got, comfortable pretending someone else was supposed to make this choice for me. And then that was going to help me make my choice. And it was like, oh no, I didn't keep my ducks in a row, because why would I need to if someone else was going to take care of it for me? Okay, let's look at the actual reading for today. We have the Divine Masculine overall headspace today, the King of Wands. I want to take action. I want to do something about this. I want to be decisive. I want to be bold. I want to have the conviction of my beliefs, and I want to be committed to them because I have overcome my any kind of immature behaviors and entered into this place where I have this sexual mastery. I am a monogamous energy. And the Divine Feminine's like, well, it sure took you a fucking long time to get there, buddy. Because the Divine Feminine's headspace is like, this masculine energy has come so fucking slowly that I can't even stand it. Meanwhile, while he was doing, I was waiting for him to take action. I literally had to become the masculine and slowly, painfully try to figure a way to have my, bread instead of getting crumbs from this person who was taking so long to become this person. It's about damn time is the feeling in the heart space of the Divine Feminine. But looky. What's underlying all thoughts and decisions for the masculine energy? Oops, I flipped that over by mistake. Interesting. But it was upright. The Four of Wands. Maybe he's still a bit like, holy shit. Don't show yet that I'm ready for commitment. What do you mean? And then the Divine Masculine, what's been in the back of her mind? She's been wondering if this Divine Masculine was going to do the bait and switch. This is Littlefinger. He's manipulative. Not the greatest magician energy here. The trickster, even though, that's not always associated with magician energy, but Littlefinger definitely is somebody he's a bait and switch type of guy. So Divine Feminine is like, you ready? You sure you're ready? And now we're kind of having her being like, wait, am I ready? Am I ready? Like the Divine Masculine was like, I'm ready for commitment. And then my Divine Feminine was like, no, yeah, okay, I guess he is. Like, what doesn't look like it yet, though? I don't see it. Is it in the hat? Like, are we going to pull it out of the hat? Is it an illusion? Is this really happening? Because this is the paint is dry. I'm watching paint dry here. Like, just waiting for this to be happening. And now you're telling me you're coming out the gate and the first things out of your mouth are, yeah, I'm ready for commitment. Oh my Lanta, the Divine Feminine is flustered today. It isn't the masculine who's all like, the masculine was nervous in his reading too, but right now there is this frenetic energy coming from her. So being like, oh, okay, so we're doing this. Okay, we're doing this. What has the masculine been dealing with? Well, I keep switching the cards also. I keep switching head and heart and heart and head. So yeah, if you're the King of Wands, you've had to learn how to manage your wand. You've had to get control over your wand. You've had to harness your passions, harness your energy, harness your desires, find a way to bring them about here in the physical. And what has Divine Feminine been working on? Blocking this wand before the wand is ready, like blocking the little wands that aren't as important. Like, I don't know, that's what we're doing. So the Divine Feminine energy has been like, yeah, you need to get your passion in check because I have a strong desire too, and my strong desire is for commitment, as you saw in my headspace. And I'm willing to build towards commitment. And, if that means that we don't just give in to our desires before we've cleared out all of the karma in our lives, then that's what it means. So the Divine Masculine has had to learn this lesson through his interactions with the feminine energy. What do we have now in our current energy? We have the Fool card and the Nine of Pentacles. So the Divine Masculine is wanting to take the leap And I do think he's going to be rewarded. And you know, he's got a heart of gold here in this desire. Doesn't mean he's not been egotistical and had his issues, but ultimately he does seek to have peace. And the feminine is of course feeling herself right now. She is an object of desire to this masculine energy, and maybe to others. And it's no coincidence that when the feminine has, you know, become this, that the masculine is like, oh, excuse me, we need to, excuse me, ma'am, we need to lock this down. And the divine feminine is like, I'm sorry, do we? What do you mean? I just figured out that I'm so autonomous. You too, have a good day. I've just figured out that I'm so autonomous that my life is spectacular, and now you want me to take this leap with you? I'm sorry. Did you get the wand in check? Did you take care of that? Is that taken care of? Are we taken care of in that respect? You know? Because yeah, so that's the energy I'm getting from the feminine. And I'm also seeing that hers feeling kind of like, well, you know, you were a little bit foolish when you were in this energy. Can we admit that we were a bit foolish in that energy? Because, you know. And in the upcoming energy, we have the Page of Cups, this kind of silly image of the feminine energy. And this is the masculine. And he's sort of perceiving this feminine as, in some kind of a silly manner, having spilled this hot tea about something. And he is kind of wanting this apology. Oh, really? But anyway, so not triggered. You're triggered. But so there is him thinking also, I'm sure of his own, like, because of his silly emotional underdevelopment, he did something that he needs to apologize for. But I do think this masculine energy is kind of thinking the feminine needs to be sorry for what she's done in some way. Meanwhile, the feminine is in this Nine of Wands energy, like so exhausted, 11:11 on the clock right now, which is significant as this is the divine tune-in, and we did get that card today. And divine feminine is she has had to really heal wounds that happened from this emotional underdevelopment that was experienced in the connection in general. And so she is, you know, feeling victimized too. So I think both of them really kind of feel victimized by each other. And yeah, I see them kind of still isolating in that energy of victimization. So let's clarify all of this. So the working on, you know, this is being guarded about what you're really interested in, what you're really passionate about. Feeling like you have to defend it. This is definitely, I would never hold these two cards up and being like, this would be your warning sign if you ever go to a reader and they're like, oh my God, you are so unapologetic about what you desire. You would never know. Maybe if you were not defensive about your desires, I would be like, you are so unapologetic about your desire, but this wouldn't give me that vibe. You are apologetic about what you desire. Why? Because what you desire, oh my God, damn it, son of a bitch. You desire this twin flame bullshit connection, person, soulmate, whatever person label that you put, that's been the center of your world, that is undeniable, who has been so wishy-washy with you and wearing a mask and not being forthcoming and just, you know, saying they love you, but that being like, so it doesn't even, who cares? So you are not unapologetic because you were on the journey with this person. You know, you were there, right? You suffered these wounds, and both of you suffered wounds from one another, you know, and you both feel justified in your position, and that and that's why communication is absolutely vital to get past this period of being unwilling to have a discussion, like, because you're both feeling wounded about what happened, but you can't really see things from each other's perspective without actually talking. All right, so if you feel as frustrated as I do, then it is likely that you too have been struggling with this energy in your past, and you're still probably dealing with it, but you feel this change coming because we've got this fool that's like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind. I'm gonna take the leap, and I'm gonna believe that I'm gonna be rewarded because I have seen the future potential, and it's time to make that choice and make that change and actually go from the Three of Wands into the Four of Wands. Now, we come here a lot in the collective. So, you know, we're getting all jazzed up, but like this is remember, the moon cycles each month, and so does the divine masculine and feminine energy. And so we are entering now that cycle where there is this desire to change the energy of waiting to an energy of, what is this? This is overcoming this victimization of the divine feminine. We have Justice and the Queen of Wands. So we are seeing here that the divine feminine was really wronged. She experienced some kind of injustice, and this kind caused her to act childish. A fiery queen, a bold and fiery and confident and visionary queen should be treated as such. And when she wasn't, she retaliated with this energy. She spilt some hot tea. And she, in some way, burned this masculine, either with her words or, you know, with her reactionary behavior. And it doesn't mean it wasn't justified, because we see justice here, and we know it's just. It's absolutely just. This is the character that is unfortunately dies by an injustice because of his refusal to not be a just character. That's sometimes how it happens, right? If you don't bend, you'll break. And this justice is unbending. And divine feminine has to overcome the victim mentality that's there. The masculine has to overcome the feeling of having victimized the feminine, and then her having told everyone that she was victimized by him, which is humiliating. He feels like a fool, right? He feels like everybody's gonna know that he was so foolish. But I don't think that what is happening here is that what it was missing is him realizing that, like, that's okay. Because the true meaning of this card is true love, right? It's not something to be embarrassed about. And that's how he can reclaim that from this part of himself that is worried about judgment or how he is perceived. It's just like, you know, it's a matter of the heart. All right, very quickly. We've got mindset here. This is both need to cultivate a mindset of the key to prayer is to forget what I think I need. That's literally what we did at the beginning of this reading. So if that was your first time doing that, you want to acknowledge that often the thing we think we need is not actually what's going to give us the feelings that we're after. And start to use that practice that I gave you at the beginning of this video in your practice. And then we're getting energy flows where my intention goes. So there is really a need for you to embrace this. Your energy is going where your intention is going. So that's like if you say something to somebody and you don't mean it, your intention doesn't send energy towards them, right? But if you do mean it, it's going to send that energy towards them. Animal spirit oracles today, we have giraffe spirit, see the big picture, and hawk spirit, let spirit be your guide. Another like seeing the big picture type of an energy. So we have taking a step back from the situation, seeing things from a much larger perspective, and then being able, once you step back, to hone in on the details that you need to see that are going to help you achieve what you need to achieve. Stand up cards. Okay. Then we have from my Seasons of the Witch deck, we have potions and spells. A pinch of this, a dash of that. Be sure you're sure before you call. Okay, that's an interesting thing to say. Be sure you're sure before you call. Now remember, Divine Feminine was the one who was suddenly like, wait, am I ready? Be sure you're sure, Divine Feminine. So the larger message from this deck, the Seasons of the Witch, is potions and spells are how a witch weaves her magic spell, calling into existence her deepest desires. Potion making and spell crafting are two rituals that, when done correctly, can bring about dozens of manifestations. Adding little pinches of this and that here and there can change your creations ever so slightly, and is an art that has been passed down through hundreds of generations in as many cultures. One of the best nights of the year to create potions and work spells is on Samhain, when the veil is at its thinnest. Weaving your magic on this night is like supercharging your magical creations and rituals. Our ancestors would work spells on Samhain to survive the winter. For a time, magic was the very bread and butter of survival, a way to protect, nourish, and support through good times and bad. Should you receive the Potions and Spells card, know that you should begin learning the art of potion making and spell crafting. The more personal a spell or potion, the better the chance of a favorable outcome. You are capable of manifesting anything you wish. You are the director of your life, and as a witch, you are better equipped to manifest the exact life you desire and deserve. Think big. The potions and spells available to you are endless. You can have and create anything you choose. Make it your mission to craft your life. You know what's interesting? It must be just like inherent that we have a desire to create potions, because don't you remember when you were little, like one of the first things that you would do when you play outside is like get a bunch of stuff and put it in a bowl and like mix it up, you know? It's a collective right now, but we're at the very end of it. So I just think it's interesting that there's like this inherent desire to like make potions, and it's like how people come up with all these amazing recipes because they're experimenting. They put a little this and that, and what would this taste like, or what would this feel like? And it's just like it's just a natural urge that we have to be curious and explore things, and sometimes to our detriment, right? Because there are many of us that were here before everybody else that tried things that they didn't know were not going to be good for them, and eat the wrong mushrooms, and you're either going to go on a real fun trip or you're never coming back. Like there's one, you know, like, but it's just interesting. It's an inherent part. And so you're really being called into that curiosity right now. And that message of be sure you're sure before you call, because we don't want the masculine energy to enter back into the wishy-washy energy. So, you know, don't say you're going to do something until you are sure you are going to do it. And that applies to you, not your person. Like if your person, they're going to do whatever they're going to do. If you embody this energy, then your person is only going to be able to be around you if they have the same level of control that you have. Otherwise, you just will be like, nah, I'm not interested in you. Like we're never interested in our person when they're really not in a alignment with us. We just usually lose interest, or something blocks it, and that brings us to the final message, which is your theme of this week, which is the Lover's card from this deck, which is such a strange image, because we see this little girl, first of all, and we already saw that that's kind of an issue here. And this is not about gender. This is about emotions, underdeveloped emotions, right? And those underdeveloped emotions happen to be clinging to a masculine energy that we can't even see because he's wearing this bird costume. And of all the birds, it is a mean, territorial blue jay that we're seeing. And we want to think lovebirds in this image. And maybe if it was upright too, it might be more, well, it's lovebird type of a thing. Also, notice this is a different deck entirely, but the colors are so aligned here. And the silliness and the ridiculousness is, and the weirdness, like here's these fish flying in the air, right? And so, you know, there's too many fish, right? And these leaves look like those fish, like there's so many, these things are connected. So you have to release your emotional underdevelopment in regards to romantic connection. This is the fantasy. This is the Disney fantasy stuff that gets in both of your ways. And also, you have to stop clinging to people whose idea of being like showing their affection to you is to show you that they are cold and detached rather than who they really are. And like, this is something both of you are needing to do. Both of you need to heal. You need to heal this energy. This is what you're working on right now. So make a love potion for yourself. And by that I mean something really nourishing. Nourishing and delicious. Show yourself so much love. And just see what happens after you do that. All right, so that is the end of the collective tune-in, and I hope that that helps you for the week. I will see you again next week. I haven't been teaching class on Wednesdays. I am hoping to get back to it this Wednesday. I have just had like trying to put my focus in the right place has been difficult for me this last couple of weeks. So I'm hoping that I will be more balanced with Libra season upon us. You're so welcome. I'm glad that was spot on. Thank you so much for the gifts and for the likes too. I'm going to continue reading personal readings for those of you that desire it. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, you can hop over to Pearl's Prayers TikTok for personal readings. If you want to see me again, I will be, as I was about to say, I will be here on Wednesday. Hopefully I will be doing the class in the morning. The origins of the twin flame myth. We are about to dive into the actual myth that is written, but first we are going to tackle some of the content about all the different gods and goddesses' names, because Plutarch tends to swap those names around a lot, and I want to give us more context for that before we dive into this myth, because there's a lot of name swapping happening. So I want us all to know what the hell Plutarch is talking about. And so we're going to start that in class on Wednesday. And then we'll probably start the very first section of the myth of Isis and Osiris. And then we'll get into the meat and bones of that the next week. So that's the trajectory. If you haven't seen the other classes, they're available on a playlist on my Tuned in Tarot YouTube. And I'm going to try to make the actual Discord classroom so that all the resources are available and everything's there. And I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. Thank you so much, everybody. On YouTube, I will see you Wednesday. And members, of course, don't forget, you can now see on a daily basis the part 2s of the Tell Me Everything spreads that are available on my TikTok account. So have the best day, YouTube. Thanks for being here. And I will turn my attention to my lovely TikTok personal readings.